those family members of Fort Hood, the most recent people who have been impacted by these radical ideals. I had the opportunity last Wednesday to attend the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing with Mr. Attorney General Eric Holder, where he was to describe his decision. It's a fact of the matter that most Americans weren't able to be there that day because they were either working or, unfortunately, so many of them were looking for work. But you really had to see it and hear it with your own eyes to believe what is happening. I had my eyes and ears opened and great concerns coming out of that session. It was really showing our political system. And when you get to a point where instead of not only a majority party, do you have a ruling party across our Congress and legislature and in the White House, what can really happen? The decision that Attorney General has made to try the terrorists in civilian court as opposed to military, I believe, is a violation of the oath that he took. I believe it's a violation of the oath that the Commander-in-Chief took when they said that duty-bound to defend our country and to uphold our Constitution. At the heart of the matter, the decision flies in the face of both of those things. It's to me unimaginable that the risks attendant to a civil trial versus a military trial are so casually taken on the part of the Attorney General. To convey rights under our Constitution to enemy combatants, to people sworn to kill us, to people that have confessed their crime, is beyond unreasonable. When you think about the potential consequences, we're taking risks with this decision that are unnecessary. These evil people pleaded guilty already. They acknowledged their crimes. They asked to be executed in the military proceedings. We should quickly grant their wish. Instead, the Attorney General has taken a different approach for reasons that I can only surmise really have to do with, let's prove to the world, let's show to the world that indeed some of America's practices and procedures and harsh interrogation, let's see if we can't get them convicted even by dismissing any and all evidence obtained under that rationale. When I called this the September 11th, the sequel, if you consider the impact on New York, the impact on our country, the risks associated with this decision, both near-term and long-term, it is September 11th revisited. I've heard that the Attorney General maintained that we'll make sure that no classified information comes out to divulge further of our intelligence procedures and systems. We'll make sure they don't have a platform to air their grievances. We've seen already today that lawyers for Ali and the lawyer for Khalid Mohammed, they've already decided we have a new avenue, a new platform. We get to go back to New York. We consider the impact on not only all of the families who lost their loved ones. By the way, Todd Beamer would have been 41 years old tomorrow. Not only the impact upon the families, but the impact upon our economy. They attack the center of commerce. Consider the disruption associated in Manhattan with this sort of show trial. It's been said that, well, the preliminary costs are only $75 million for extra security. We all know that that's a very, very low number, but we know that, sure, one of the quickest affirmative answers that Attorney General offered up was, not to worry, Senator Schumer, the federal government will print some more money and send it to New York in effect of what I would call a blank check. Haven't even considered what might the enemy do given this kind of a platform in that place. How about just one of them, sympathizer, coming across the Brooklyn Bridge with a shoe bomb? So good people of New York, think about your morning commute, taking off all of your shoes on the trains and the planes and your cars coming across the bridge. This is horrible to give these kind of folks such a platform. I was further most dismayed with the dynamics of the Judiciary Committee. And to my fellow Americans, I would say the dynamics go like this. The ruling party, the Democrat members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, would praise the Attorney General Holder for his decision. Then, a member of the minority party, a Republican, would ask a serious question about his decision. All too often, the answers to those questions were, "I never imagined that," "I'm not an expert." Good people, that does not give us great confidence in considering the impact of this decision. To convey constitutional rights on enemy combatants, what does that mean for subsequent enemies? What does that say about how our soldiers are supposed to treat enemies captured on the battlefield? Should they be read their Miranda rights? Do they have the right to remain silent? Will we need to export lawyers? Good people, his answers to the only serious questions that were asked about the matter at hand came from the minority party. His answers were woefully inadequate. I believe that it's a responsibility for the Attorney General to understand the impact of this left-minded decision, to ask his boss, the Commander-in-Chief, can't I please change this course of action, put it back in the military's hands? I'm certain that the administration would be able to come up with appropriate spin for this proper decision, and they ought to set about doing it.
Mr.
The
Beamer.
other thing that I observed, yes.
I'm sorry, we'll let you wrap up there, sir.
I have now adopted a mantra of hope and change, but to me that's spelled 2010 and 2012. I call upon my fellow Americans, let's put the House back in order. And I thank you very much, Shannon, for the opportunity to share with all of you. And let's try and have an even happier Thanksgiving November 2010 because of a regime change.
Well, Mr. Beamer, we thank you so much for your time today. I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to tap you to get you on one of the 2010 or 2012 ballots. You make excellent points. We thank you for sharing your time with us. We hope that you will come back as we follow these trials and the decisions as they play out. And a very happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and as you recognize Todd's birthday as well. We thank you so much for his heroic sacrifice, and to all the other families who suffered a loss because of 9/11. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shannon.